50 years ago, this zombie nearly destroyed the Sanzhen sect and killed everyone except Ma Zhao. Now he's back again. He's holding Ma Zhao's disciples, seemingly wanting to repeat the tragedy of the past. Ma Zhao's looking pretty down, but the zombie's grinning like a maniac. He's been waiting for this moment just so he can chow down on Ma Zhao's two disciples right in front of him. Just as the zombie is feeling smug, a burning yellow talisman suddenly attacks him and sends him flying away. It's one of Ma Zhao's skills. 50 years of training have made him no longer the little Taoist who can be bullied by anyone. Gao Haoguang is thrilled to see this happening in front of him, but Ma Zhao knows that the attack is not substantial enough to cause any real damage to the zombie. He can only do his best to hold him back and buy time for his disciples to escape. History seems to repeat itself. In the past, Ma Zhao's senior brothers and sisters sacrificed their lives to save him, but this time, he cannot run anymore. Ma Zhao determines to protect his disciple and fight for the survival of the Sanzhen sect. He hands over the Sanzhen lunar token, the sect's precious treasure, to Gao Haoguang. He says, "I couldn't decipher its mysteries even after 50 years of trying. The responsibility now falls on your shoulder." Gao Haoguang takes the Sanzhen lunar token with a resolute look in his eyes, as if he has already made up his mind. Ma Zhao turns his back to the crowd, speaks with a serious and decisive tone. "Remember, don't push yourselves too hard. Take care." His words feels like a knife piercing into the hearts of his disciples. They can't control their emotions anymore, because they know that this farewell is forever. After today, they will never see their master again. At this moment, the mage zombie stands up and walks towards Ma Zhao with a mocking expression. Ma Zhao grips his sword tightly and engages in a fierce battle with the zombie. Gao Haoguang and the others seize this opportunity to flee desperately into the distance. However, in reality, Ma Zhao is no match for the zombie at all. Even if he were to use all his strength, he couldn't defeat him. On the other hand, as Gao Haoguang runs, he reminisces about every moment spent with his master. Regret, endless regret fills him. "Why was I so foolish that I never repaid my master in so many years?" he says to himself. Gao Haoguang had once broken the wine that his master had saved for 20 years. But his master didn't blame him. Instead, he said that it's okay to wait another 20 years. Whenever someone questioned Gao Haoguang's abilities, Ma Zhao always had firm belief that someday Gao Haoguang would shine brightly like the moon in the sky, living up to his name. Now, he's filled with infinity hatred towards the zombie in his mind. He doesn't even realize that his hand holding the lunar token is already bleeding. Suddenly, the lunar token begins to heat up. It is enveloped by a strange energy, then floats in the air, and gradually forms an emblem of the Sanzhen sect. A hazy figure appears in the center of the emblem, accompanied by a faint voice. "When the Chosen One firmly decides to bring divine punishment upon the undead, it is a moment when our destinies intersect. Cross the barrier of time and seek my help, my disciple from the Sanzhen sect." With the end of the voice, the figure in the emblem becomes distinct. It is Jiang Mingzi, the most powerful immortal in the long history of the Sanzhen sect, known as the eternal immortal of all things. Now, he's communicating with Gao Haoguang through the Sanzhen lunar token from the third palace of the Sanzhen sect over 1300 years ago. Gao Haoguang looks at this ancestor and seems to have found a glimmer of hope. He respectfully bows and speaks. "Please help my master. He's fighting with a zombie and is about to die." His senior brother and sisters are very surprised by this sudden scene because they can't see the Sanzhen lunar token. Jiang Mingzi watches as Gao Haoguang thinks for a few seconds and then tells him the solution to the problem. After hearing Jiang Mingzi, Gao Haoguang wastes no time and starts running back without any hesitation. The senior brother and sister strongly dissuade him as they don't want to see their master wasting his life. However, Gao Haoguang doesn't have time to explain to them. Watching Gao Haoguang leave from behind, Jiang Mingzi becomes serious and mutters to himself, "A mere zombie dares to underestimate our Sanzhen sect. Let me see how you can withstand my power." He throws a talisman towards a prominent boulder in the third palace. The talisman is thrown into the soil underneath the boulder. Afterward, Jiang Mingzi marks the boulder with a symbol. Frantic with anxiety, Gao Haoguang finally returns to the third palace. At this moment, Ma Zhao is being lifted and choked by the zombie. Seeing Gao Haoguang come back, the Ma Zhao's heart is filled with despair. He breaks down, questioning Gao Haoguang why he came here to die, but Gao Haoguang ignores him, running straight to the side. The zombie is attracted by Gao Haoguang. He releases Ma Zhao and reaches out its arm to attack Gao Haoguang. But now, Gao Haoguang has found the marked stone and runs towards it, but the zombie's strike is very fast, and it's just about to grab Gao Haoguang. Suddenly, a burst of golden light interrupts the zombie's attack. Gao Haoguang and the zombie turn their heads to see what happened. It's Gao Haoguang's senior brother and sister. They come back. Although they don't know Gao Haoguang's intentions and know that coming back could mean death, they still came. The zombie laughs mockingly upon seeing this, while Ma Zhao, with a look of despair on his face, curses them for wanting to completely destroy the Sanzhen sect. However, Gao Haoguang rose and bows. I'll never let the Sanzhen sect be destroyed. He punches the bottom of the stone fiercely, and a powerful surge of magic erupts. The zombie fears, because he feels a life-threatening crisis from this small opponent. The source of this power is the talisman in Gao Haoguang's hand. It was made by Jiang Mingzi, who hoped that Gao Haoguang could unleash its 5% power to deal with the zombie in front of him. In the next moment, the sky changes dramatically. Countless light swords hover in the sky. The piercing sound of swords seems to tear the sky apart. From afar, a huge sword formation surrounds the entire third palace. Gao Haoguang stands in the middle of the sword formation with a firm gaze and declaring, "The Sanzhen sect shall continue to flourish and never fall." Everyone is shocked by the scene before them. Jiang Mingzi didn't expect Gao Haoguang to unleash the talisman's 100% power. The zombie, which was indestructible just a moment ago, becomes extremely fragile in front of the talisman and turns into dust. The sword's formation pierces through the mountains and disappears into the sky. Seeing this, Ma Zhao remembers the sacrificed masters and brothers and sheds tears of emotion. Gao Haoguang, imitating his master's appearance, puts his hands behind his back. Ma Zhao looks at his back and silently prays, "Master, brothers and sisters, can you see it? This pretentious boy is my disciple." Jiang Mingzi is pleased with this and says, "Not bad, but it's still far from enough to solve the source of the zombie. Another opportunity is needed."